All right. Hey, rolling out. This is your host, Crystal Jordan, and it's Reality Check. And we are here midweek doing it how we always do. Great conversation, great talent. And today we have one of the biggest up and coming stars to me out there. She's absolutely beautiful. She's talented. She's on Broadway. She's dancing. She's on TikTok. She's everywhere. But she has a brand new, she's in a brand new series, a really, really, really highly acclaimed series is about to drop. Please help me welcome the very beautiful, the very talented Miss Loren Lott to Reality Check. Hey, Loren.
Hey.
I always feel like there should be like hand claps, like.
I felt that too. I felt a little naked coming in. I was like, oh, right. Zoom. Okay, cool.
Yes, this is the two of us, but there's an audience out there. We're all cheering you on. This show, Porter, looks absolutely amazing. Congratulations on
Thank
this
you.
series. Are you excited?
Girl, I'm literally dying inside. Like I'm excited every day. Especially I really started getting excited when I started seeing the billboards.
Yeah.
And like you couldn't tell me anything when I was on a bus. Like that's like the goal in life for an actress. So yeah, it's been a dream. Even playing the role and then seeing the advertisements, because that's what you want.
Yeah.
You want the advertisements and all of that stuff. That makes it so super special.
Absolutely. Now, you've had a chance to be in some other really, big series. I mean, Greenleaf, you had a cameo there. You've been in The Game and so many other things. Definitely been on Broadway and The Young and the Restless, like a staple show that I think Young and the Restless has probably been on since television was created. So
literally the grandma shows of all grandma shows, and I definitely made it on there.
yes, you did. How was that experience? Because people think like soap opera acting seems so different. It seems so overly dramatic and
Oh
so
my gosh,
different.
yes.
How was it starring on The Young and the Restless?
Well, being on The Young and the Restless, I would say it is very dramatic, but I think more so because of how it's shot. It's shot so fast. Like usually on a series, you will probably shoot, I don't know, I'll shoot like a few scenes a day.
Mhm.
On a soap opera, you shoot 43 or so scenes a day. So you get about 2 takes, which usually shooting a scene, you get about like on prime time, you get like maybe 6 hours to shoot a scene.
Right.
And on a soap, you get 30 minutes, like if that. So I think part of what you're seeing is how fast it moves. Like we're
Yeah.
like, and then how it's shot, it's not shot as extremely cinematic. It's shot just to tell the story. So I think even if you're giving big acting, I feel like if it was shot more like a movie, it'd be like, oh, I think it'd make more sense. But it's not shot like that. So it just feels extra dramatic for this like very chill shooting moment,
Mhm.
especially the soap opera stare. Like by the time I left, I had mastered the art of like, after you say something like, well, what's it going to be?
It's got to play music. The dramatic music has to kick in.
And you have to breathe and blink and just, and I had got it down to the science by the time I ended.
And you were on there with characters that have lived generations. Literally, Victor, Nikki, like these are characters that are, like you said, are grandmothers, mothers, you, and then children, all like the same people are these characters people connect to over a long period of time, and it's generations, and but people really, that fan base is so huge. What were the fans like from The Young and the Restless? What are soap opera fans like?
Oh, dedicated. Dedicated. Oh my gosh. Like that was such a big blessing. The soap opera world is small but mighty. Like they support every single thing that you do. They're waiting for you to succeed after a soap opera because a soap opera is a great launching pad. I mean, we've got incredible stuff. We had Michael B. Jordan from a soap opera. We had Shamar Moore. Like we've had some incredible people launch from being on soap operas. So I think right after they're all waiting to see like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like where's it going to take you? And are you going to keep coming back to visit and reprise your role? So they take it. So, but you spend every day with these people. Like you shoot an episode every day. So they're watching you every day. It feels a lot closer, I think, than some other shows, but they're crazy. I did one convention And I had never, I thought I was Beyonce. Like I came, because they wait in line to get autographs from you.
Yeah.
And I felt so small. I didn't think, I'd only been on the show for like 9 months. I didn't think anybody would care. Oh my gosh, I was wrong. I signed so many autographs and took so many pictures. They were freaking out. And it was crazy. I could not believe how excited people were to meet me. I was so honored. I was like, wow. So that soap opera world is a great launching pad. It's hard though. It's really hard because you shoot an episode a day.
Yeah.
So it's hard. Usually you shoot an episode a week every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So to shoot all of that in a day, it's a lot.
You got to be on your toes.
Oh yes. Oh yes. It is. I tell people when they're auditioning, I'm like, careful. If this is, make sure you want to do this because it's not for the week. And a lot of people crumble under the pressure. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, just make sure it's a lot of pressure. I'm like, careful before you audition.
I would imagine that. And the interesting thing about you is because you came from, you're a social media influencer. So that is like the total opposite of, a soap opera world where you're actually, moving. Like you are multi-talented, but those are two very different worlds. This social
oh my gosh, yes.
Very new and moves like this. And then you're on a soap opera and on shows that, have long-standing fan bases. Was that a difficult transition for you, or did you always see yourself doing that?
So being an influencer was an accident because I didn't know that it would work. Like I didn't know that it would be something that would like make me as much money as, I thought that it was going to be like, you post for fun. So I never knew that it would end up as literally my second job. Like I have acting full time, but then the way that social media works and what you can get from it, you could quit acting and do great doing social media. I had no idea that it would end up as that. I was just enjoying a place where I was kind of safe. Like I'm such a weirdo. I'm so goofy. And to be on the internet and have people fully accept you like that. And not just that, but like look forward to it. Yeah. Like they love you being your weird self. Like I was in heaven. I just didn't know that it would end up like as cool as it is now. But I went from Broadway to the soap world. So Broadway is hard. Broadway is not for the weak. Broadway is tiring. And it's a lot to, especially when you're understudying, because I first started out understudying 6 characters. So at any given moment, I would get a phone call like, hey, tonight you're leading your whole cast. Tonight you're the smallest person in the cast. Tonight and it was the most stressful situation of my life. So to go from that to a soap, I was like, Kate. And I actually, I didn't feel like they really were publicizing me when I became a lead on Broadway, which hurt my feelings. So that's when I really became an influencer. And I started putting myself out there and building my own fan base so that when people came to the show, they weren't disappointed that I was there. They were like looking forward to it because I then started my YouTube and I started things where like I gained thousands of people to actually rally around me since I felt like the show didn't, and then from there, every opportunity I milked it. To like continue to grow a fan base.
Well, you did a great job because this, and I'm interested to see what you're going to do with this show because this one is different to me and some of the other things you've done because it's kind of a period piece. Like it's one of those historical, pieces that looks like history. It looks very much like one of those Harlem Renaissance type pieces. It's actually in Chicago and Detroit, but we know at that point those cities were very much were very progressive with art and African Americans really kind of coming into their own there. I'm going to play the trailer and then I want to talk about your character because it's a little bit of a controversial clip we see here with colorism. So I definitely want to get your take on that. So let's check out this clip here from The Porter with the beautiful Loren Lott.
First thing, shoes are important. No scuffs, perfect polish. And when you walk like a man with answers, because whether or not you have them, that's who you have to be.
If anyone's got a right to that stage, it's me.
You think I'm out front just because I'm cream in your coffee? Try a little talent.
Zeke, you make sure that my husband stays out of trouble tonight.
Don't I always?
You think I need a partner?
I think you need a man that knows every vein in them trains.
What makes you think you'll even make it to the door? I have been called the most dangerous Negro in America.
If I wanted to get deporters into a union, what's the first thing I should do?
Great fear of the white worker is that our elevation means their elimination.
We are supposed to create our own opportunities.
There are rules to be obeyed, Marlene, and I strongly suggest you start playing yours.
When I hear somebody trying to sell me on a better life, I gotta ask myself, what is so bad about the life they got?
I know y'all might be scared of what might happen if we do this, but maybe it's time we start thinking about what happens if we don't.
You sure you don't want to work with me?
You sure you don't want to join the movement?
I'm good.
The force of our oppression is the truest measure of our power.
Knowing when to be a bull-headed Negro motherfucker and when not to be.
I'm a Puerto Papsi, the most invisible man on the earth.
All right, the Porter on CBC and BET Plus. Again, that just looks like something I'm excited to watch because it looks so. I mean, some of those one-liners is like, you know, they already seemed amazing. The costumes, the ambiance, you guys seem like you hit it head on. Alfre Woodard is in it. Like, oh my God. Tell us about your character and a little bit about, because we see that this is like the cast are people that are moving and kind of transitioning is all around the railroad, but there's a lot of different things happening. So tell us about your character.
So I play Lucy Conrad, and she is a dark-skinned performer of that era. And she really wants to be a star, but she struggles because with her dark skin, she ends up in the background. So they have something called the A line and the B line. A line is for the light-skinned girls. B line is for the dark-skinned girls. And the B line never gets to lead. They never get to do anything like that. They stay in the back. But she has dreams of going to New York and being a star. And she will get that at any means necessary. So we follow her journey through trying to battle colorism, which they really go ahead and put out there for us, which I love. But they put it out there for us, and then we also follow her as she tries to be a star in every measure that she takes to get that.
That's interesting, and I'm glad that this series is talking about that because yes, that's something that we know is a part of our history, but it's still a very serious conversation today. We do conversations with different class from reality shows, and colorism is something that consistently comes up, especially as it relates to women. There's a lot of that on different shows. And so I just want to ask you, because obviously you're cast for the role, you're a beautiful brown-skinned sister. And how has that been for you in your journey to being an actress, and even the comments that people say sometimes? Do we still have that attitude of someone is cute for a dark-skinned girl? Like all those things that we know are a part of our history that sometimes we try to act like are not there, come out when people are, trying to get opportunities and often feel like they may not get the same opportunities because of that, even still today.
Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, all my life I've heard that I was cute for a dark-skinned girl. I wouldn't give a dark-skinned girl a chance, but I might give you one. Oh yeah, I guess she's cute, but she can follow me on Twitter. I don't mess with dark-skinned girls. I don't like dark-skinned girls. She's too dark for me. She's too black for me. Your gums are dark, or do you smoke? Like all my life, it has been something that I become numb to. So prayerfully, my mom and grandma set up my life very black and educated. So colorism was more something that never affected my self-esteem. It just affected my irritation. I just figured that people were ignorant, and they taught me that. They said, if someone has a problem with your complexion, that's something God did. So they actually have a problem with God. That's not a you problem. If someone has a problem with something you can't change, they need to take that up with God. There's nothing you could do with that. Right. And also everything in my life was black. So every painting, I never grew up with white dolls. Like Jesus was black. Santa was black. Everything in my life was black. So, and not black like how they portray black. Like there was nothing hood about my life. It was just black. The richest people that I knew were black. So everything, my black experience was black excellence only. All the artists that I loved were black, everything was black. So to experience colorism, it never hit as deep. And it always hurt me to hear the experience of my sisters who were trying to erase their skin. Of everything I've hated my race. I mean, my weight, not my race. I've hated my weight. I've hated my acne. I hated, there were so many things in my body I wanted to change. My complexion was never one. I felt like that was chosen for me. So I was always grateful, to have it. I was like, okay, God, this one was for me. My weight, I did to myself. My acne, like, come on. But like my complexion, I was always so proud of it. And I came from these Black queens that I loved their skin, so I'm happy to tell this story of colorism because I know that it's something that has always been swept under the rug. As we talked about racism and we talked about issues in the Black community, colorism has always been a giant one that we kind of just been like, okay.
I think to an extent people it's internal and we are a little bit ashamed of it, because it's sad to hear, even the things that you said that irritated you, that's hurtful to hear. I did a like a study with a group of high school girls a few years ago, and we looked up all the hip hop lyrics that mentioned a red bone was better than a dark skin. Like it was unbelievable when you tallied them all together and put them together. And so your experience is, I think, unique in that you did, that didn't penetrate your self-esteem because of how you were raised. But
I did grow up feeling and knowing, though it didn't hurt my self-esteem, I understood my place. So I understood that if I walked in somewhere with my light-skinned best friend, that she was going to get the attention first. And I grew up, until I got to Atlanta, I grew up knowing that someone would have to love my personality and then they would see how beautiful I was. And it didn't hurt my feelings. It was just what it was. Like, it was just, my experience was like, okay, people are going to look at her first. And then after they spend time with me, they're going to start saying all the compliments that she's going to get off rip, and it was just what it was until I got to Atlanta. I got to Atlanta and I was in an alternate universe. I got off the plane and it's like, oh, you're not going to give me a chance because I'm light skinned. I got a thing for dark skinned girls. The first time somebody said that, I was walking through Morehouse campus. I had never in my life heard somebody say they had a thing for dark skinned girls. And then I continuously heard like, oh, my type, dark skin. I was like, what in the alternate universe is going on out here? What is up with you people? Like, you love dark skin and you like them thick? I was always trying to be so skinny. Like, Atlanta, if you ever have low self-esteem as a Black woman, go to Atlanta because they will have, with no makeup on and a bonnet on, you can find your husband. Like, they are about it.
That is true. It's funny. I grew up kind of in Oklahoma, and when I moved to Atlanta, I did not like being thick. And when I moved to Atlanta, I was like, oh, I should have grown up here because that would have been much different for my self-esteem as a kid. But I think the thing about Atlanta is it did have this reputation of being this like Black, this new, Black Renaissance place where you did have a lot of wealthy, successful, all different flavors and different types of things. But we still, like I said, the conversation still comes up. And the fact that I think a lot of people are afraid to really tackle it. So tell us about
because it's still relevant. People still have their preferences that they don't realize they got from slavery, So I think it's something that they don't want to that doesn't want to be addressed,
Right. So tell us about your character and how do we see her dealing with it? What are some of the things that she's dealing with and what are we going to see? What did you get a chance to really dig into with this character that we can look forward to seeing on The Porter?
Well, you can definitely look forward to a lot of singing, a lot of dancing, some wild, great dancing, some love, you know what I'm saying? Because let me tell you, Lucy is scandalous. So you're gonna see a little bit of loving. Now, I haven't seen every episode, so I don't know how far it goes with how much they show some loving, but I know that they're going to show that Lucy can pull, okay? And she can pull some Richies, okay? She's doing the daggone thing. But also, it's a wild ride. Like The Porter, there's so many trauma stories that we've been fed. And in telling this story, I was a little nervous that this was going to be another one that just we watch and we're just gutted again. Our history is so painful. And that's all we see is like white people, what white people did to us. In this story, we get to see Black life. So aside from just segregation and how horrible white people were to Black people, which shocks me that racism could even still exist today when you really learn the history, because it's awful what Black people have been through, you know, and what your grandparents, like this was not that long ago, what your grandparents went through. It's disgusting. And it's shocking that anybody would still just grow. The more that I've been on this journey, the more I've had to learn. And I have just been like nauseous learning just how disgusting. But anyway, the trauma stories, you know, we're tired of them. I'm disgusted. So I love that they tell this one in an artistic way, and that you get to see Black people living in a house, Black people like chilling and having a great time. And you get to see, this is like, the Porters are like the hidden gems of our history. You know, they've never had a story. I didn't know about them. And they were such a prominent part and set up generational wealth through life. My family did well because my great grandfather was a Porter, you know, and it sets you up for, it sets up a mindset for life. Like this was the upper class of Black, you know, and we get to see what that looks like without them really saying like these were the high quality. You could just get to see who they were. So it's fire.
That's dope. You're right. We don't always see that. We always see the struggle. We always see Black struggle. We don't ever see that there was another side, and that, you know, just the ideas and the way that they, you know, the families lived that weren't always in that. It's okay that we definitely need to know both sides. So how was it working? Because there's some heavy hitting actors, some long time Black excellence all up and through this. So what was it like working with such amazing veterans in the business and getting a chance to kind of watch them and work alongside them?
So unfortunately, one of my favorite people, Alfre Woodard, who, you know, I grew up watching Holiday Heart and like all the movies that she was in, you know what I'm saying? Crooklyn?
Yeah, Crooklyn. Yeah.
Crooklyn? What? So I grew up watching those, you know, so I didn't know, I knew that she was a part of the series, but I didn't have any scenes with her. So I was like, okay, you know, whatever, it sucks. But we were both, there's only 3 Americans on this show who were able to get these roles. She's one of them. I know I was like, but she's one of them. And we had to fly in, you know, and quarantine for 2 weeks because Canada does not play. They're not like here where like you can get away with a lot of stuff here. Over there, you cannot. The police will show up at your door. Like they do not play. So we were quarantined and I didn't know she was my neighbor. So,
oh my God.
So I get a phone call and she's like, hey, come to your balcony. And I didn't know who this was. I was like, okay. And I come to my balcony looking a mess. Okay. I've been quarantined. Am I showering? No. Is my hair done? No, I'm disgusting. I go to my wig. I go to my balcony and it's Alfre Woodard sitting there in all her glamorousness, like, hey. And I was like, let me just try this again. And she's like, yo, you look great. And I was like, I don't. And now I know you're a liar because I look absolutely terrible. But what she would do is every time she cooked, she would leave it outside my door and knock and like run away. She's a stickler for the rules. So I never got to like, we didn't hug until after quarantine, but like, she was such a stickler, but like, she would bring me groceries and I had to quarantine a little longer than her. And she would bring me groceries and like leave them outside my door. And then I would make her whatever food. And like, I felt like we were having like kindness wars. So like she would leave me food and then knock and run. And then I would leave her food and like knock and run. And it was so cute. I felt so cool having this little thing with Alfre Woodard. And also I felt cool that she was so kind. Because, you know, a lot of, you know, I wouldn't say this clean, you know, it's you're not going to meet, not everybody from that time is as nice. Yeah. You know, like a lot, you know, sometimes you run into older actresses who, you know, they've been through some things, you know, and they don't always have the light they once had. The industry's rough, you know. She completely still had a light. She's in love with her husband. Like she was just, it gave me so much hope in this industry where I see so many people divorced, hurt, you know, whatever. She is living in a gym. And it gave me hope.
You got Alfre Woodard food. That's awesome. Alfre Woodard cooked for you.
Bougie food. I was like, what am I doing with goat cheese? What am I supposed to do with this? Like, it was bougie food. Like, it was not fries.
How cute. Well, that's even though you might not have been in scenes with her, that's a great memory that you will have that a lot of people do not have. Very unique.
For sure. I'm about to see her at we have another premiere on the 21st, and it's going to be my first time seeing her since she left before I did. And I'm so excited.
Awesome. That is so cool. Anybody else on set that you did have scenes with that left an impression on you or that you really enjoyed working with?
Oh my gosh, yes, two people. One, my love interest. His name is Luke Billick, and I didn't know who he was, but apparently the teen girls who follow me on TikTok did because he was on Degrassi. He's like a cute white boy.
Okay.
Then we have a little, scandalous little interracial love story. But this was my first time having a love interest this long and this intense.
Okay.
So even coming in, I was nervous. I was like, okay, we're about to be pretty close, and I haven't done this yet. And he was phenomenal, like so fun, so funny, and I'm a goofball. So the fact that we could laugh together sometimes until 4 a.m., miserable on set, but still like vibing with each other, still like, come on, we got to, He was a dream come true. So professional too. Like never once did he cross a line. That was just. I thank God every day that was my scene partner. And he was so grateful. There were sometimes we would look around at the horses and the extras and how big the production was. And he was like, do you ever just want to cry? And I was like, yeah, I do. It was so overwhelming and so beautiful. I'm in a different country, he was great. And then another one was Ronnie Rowe Jr., who is actually one of our main porters of this story, starts the union, whatever. And he was just so fun. And one of my favorite things that I said about him is he makes you want to be a better person without you feeling like you're not good enough now. And I think I would love to do that. I pray that I can have the same effect that he had on all of us. He inspired us to work out, to be patient, to love harder, and he became one of the closest people to me on that set. And I was just so grateful for him every single day, especially on the days when it would get really lonely, like I'd miss being home or something like that. Like having them, it was an absolute dream. Definitely one of my favorite things to shoot, and mainly because of them. They made it so great. So many movie nights. It was a blast. I pray we get a season 2 so we can do it all over again.
Well, it looks very artistically shot, and
cinematic.
It from what it sounds like in that trailer. I can't wait to see the first episode. It sounds like the writing is absolutely great. So we're definitely going to believe that there's a season 2 coming. We're so proud of you. Have had a chance to watch your career, and I'm so proud of you doing your thing. What are like some long-term goals that you want? This is a big opportunity. We know more are coming. What are you looking forward to doing in your career besides leaving a great impression on others?
I would love to play a princess and be able to inspire some little girls coming up. Especially, I realize that my skin color makes everything political, and I'm okay with that. The fact that I could be dark skinned and that people can find me attractive, I want to milk that as much as I can. And I would love to, just from me being on a screen, that's all it takes to inspire another little girl with my same complexion. I would just be so honored to actually play a princess and be able to sing and dance and inspire her to do the same. And not just her, millions. I want to inspire a bunch of little girls. And literally, I'm so Christian and like dull in real life. I ain't got no scandals. So like I could be a great role model, so I would love that. I would just love that opportunity. And I pray that, because this is the biggest Black show Canada's ever filmed. And the fact it's going to be playing in America, I really just pray that it's received. Like, I pray that people just love this. I pray that it's as big as they want it to be, because I know that they put a lot into this. So I pray it's bigger than what they were even praying for. Like that's my prayer for them, is that it's just for all of us, is that this leads to some crazy, incredible opportunities. I pray that every day. I just pray every day that God's hand is on this show, and that it does phenomenal. The cast was so lovely and talented. I'm like, I pray that we all launch from this, and that just many more blessings and opportunities. We get to go and shine our light on a bunch of different sets, and that this be a moment we look back on and we're like, dang, you remember how wild that was? Were you expecting that to happen? Because I wasn't. Because, as I've been in this since I was 13, and I've gotten to see a lot of people have their moment. I've gotten to see a lot of people rise, and I've gotten to be so proud and happy for so many peers who I watched so many people's life change.
Yeah.
And it would be so cool to see the same thing from mine. Mine is still cool. Like I'm happy, I'm grateful for my career.
You're doing just fine. We will.
Right.
To
But
those
it would be
watching you, it looks big now, and you absolutely look like a princess. So I'm sure that's not far off. But this it was interesting to see that because we haven't seen a lot of Black shows coming from Canada. So that's from that broadcasting system. So that's awesome. That's growth in a different way. So you're a part of something that is constantly, every time something new happens and we break another stereotype or thought process, that helps move us forward. So you've already done that. So we're just believing it's going to be even bigger. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and having a great candid conversation about so many things that are not easy to talk about: racism, colorism. And we definitely are going to be watching The Porter. It's actually next week, right? Is the premiere?
Oh my gosh, it starts in Canada on
Monday.
Oh, I'm so nervous. Please love it. Please love it. Please love it.
Well, that's a great place to end. It's Friday night. You guys, you're going to have a great weekend, and Monday is going to be the start of something big. Thank you so much, Loren Lott. We are definitely going to be watching, and we'll definitely.
Thank you. And congrats to everything with you.
Thank you.
I watched you for years. Thank you for every opportunity you've given me, from back in the day before all of this. You know what I'm saying? I remember everything. So thank you.
I saw it. You have always been a star. Like I said, you're definitely going to be a princess. I'm so proud of you. And I want you to come back when you guys get a second season, and let's talk about this scandalous young lady that you're you got to come back.
Definitely.
Thank you. And good luck. We'll definitely be watching and checking in with you on Monday.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
All right, guys, definitely check that show out. It looks absolutely amazing. I'm a sucker for period pieces and things that look romantic, and there's dancing. It's all that good stuff. Plus, there's some beautiful Black people in it doing their thing. So we're definitely going to support Miss Loren Lott in The Porter. We'll have more to come on the series coming up later. And of course, you can catch that on CBC and BET Plus. There's some type of collaboration. We'll have more for you on that on rollingout.com. As always, thank you for hanging out with me. This has been your host, Crystal Jordan. This is another reality check. And I think today's reality check that I want everybody to take is remember to believe in yourself and love on yourself. And the way that Loren talked about how she was raised, it just inspired me to continue pushing this out to young girls. The more we can tell people that they are special just the way they are, and whatever makes you different is your superpower, then we'll have more little girls that go on to be in movies and Broadway and all those amazing things that so many people want to do. I love you all for watching, and I will definitely see you right here next week on rollingout.com. Have a great weekend.